myself short today. Feels like I fell 1,000 times. Nothing but doubt to flood my mind. 'Cause sometimes it's hard to remember why I ever started racing with my dreams. A restless December, feeling I was meant for more than I believed. I'll never surrender, rather try and fail and fall 1,000,000 times. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I will struggle, I will shout. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. I swear I meant to do this. I'm told that love would never lie. Where my head has met my heart and they are beautifully aligned. But sometimes it's hard to remember everything I've done that's brought me to this space. I started with embers, now a raging fire is burning in its place. I'll never surrender, rather try and fail and fall 1,000,000 times. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I will struggle, I will shout. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. There's no stopping, there's no doubt. I'm on my way. I know as close as I am now, I'm on my way. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? But you've been living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape.
This is a sickness of the highest order. Eh?
I'm muted. All right. Yeah, I forgot to push that button this morning too. I haven't had enough coffee yet. And Lord, have mercy. Let's just get right into it. Because if you can read this, I'm going to need more coffee. Straight up, I'm just going to need more coffee this morning. I think that goes without saying. So I went to bed early last night. I did not even tune into Dave's stream like I'd kind of wanted to. I had dinner with the wife. We caught up. My evenings, are pretty busy, pretty tightly packed. And so when I get an opportunity to spend a little time with the wife, I do. Spent the evening with her. We just kind of got caught up on a few things, talking, visiting, that kind of stuff. And so I went to bed. And then I got up this morning and, well, let's just say, um, all hell broke loose, I guess. I guess that's an easy way to say. No, seriously, I don't think I'm hoping. I'll put it this way: I hope this is much to do about nothing. I really, truly do, because the bottom line is, I like all the parties involved. I like the women recording. I like Mitch. I like Matt. So and honestly, truthfully, I don't know. I do know. I have some opinions. But anyway, before we do all that, let's say, hey, it's Cinco de Mayo, people. Let's not get too crazy here, okay? Let's celebrate. Let's have some tacos. Let's have some cervezas. Let's drink a little tequila. Let's have some fun, right? Because ultimately, life is too short, and I just don't want to. You don't like Mitch? I know you don't like Mitch Beaver. I know you don't. I know you can't stand him, but I like him. He's a funny little Australian that cracks me up. So anyway, so I did extend an invitation. I did not expect most of the parties involved to be able to be on, because let's be honest, I run a very early show. This is, like, unless you're on UK time or Australian time, generally most times, maybe East Coast, you may be getting kind of start your day. But I do, most of the people involved, I think, are kind of night owls, so I get that. But Empress K did reach out. She did agree to come on. She is in waiting to call. I am going to bring her in here in just a minute. And I'm gonna, have her let her talk, whatever her piece. Seanry sent a YouTube message. Or not a YouTube, but a little Twitter video. We're going to watch that as well. I've got that queued up as well. It's all Liana's fault. I don't think it's Liana's fault at all. I honestly think that this is one big, huge misunderstanding. I think that's it. I think that this was something that was made to be bigger than what it really was, but this typical for YouTube, right? And Twitter, right? We take a molehill and make it into a freaking mountain. That's what we do, right? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Empress in, and we'll have a conversation. I'll let her, because I know she hasn't been to bed. I know she's probably really dragging, and I'm gonna give her an opportunity to say or talk or whatever. We'll have a few conversations. So good morning, Empress. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate that.
Good morning.
I know you haven't been to bed. I've seen your tweets.
I haven't been to bed. I also do want to just make it very clear. I'm a bit of a nervous laugher, so if
Yeah.
I laugh at inappropriate times, it's not me going like, haha, that's funny. That's me going like, okay.
I understand. It's a nervous laugh. It's fine. It's okay. So, I'm gonna be real honest with you here. Okay. I was not aware. Well, I mean, I knew that you guys had done the Valentine's stream, but I hadn't watched it. So and that's not a slight. Okay. I'm just be honest with you. There's a lot of content, and I watch content all day long while I work. Right. And so I try to stay on top of everything, but it is impossible. It is flat out impossible to watch everything. I do try to catch highlights here and there and stuff. So That being said, you guys had a special Valentine's Day stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys had, from there, I seen you that D-Max was on there. Mitch was there. Of course, D-Max was producing, correct?
Yeah, D-Max was producing because the last time I tried to produce, it went to shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I went to it didn't really go so well, and D-Max he volunteered. He was like,
Yeah.
"You're a host, Empress. You shouldn't be doing the producing. I'll do the producing for you and
Okay.
stuff." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I just sent
Yeah.
him everything that I had.
Cool. And D-Max is a good dude, and he's very
Oh
gracious with
yeah,
his
no,
time and stuff. So just
D-Max is amazing.
yes, yeah.
He
Except for when
is.
he's being a little shit. But other than that, yes, he's a good dude.
Well,
So
we can all be a little bit of a little shit, though.
not
So.
me. Please.
Oh, right. Yes. That is right. You are perfect. You are.
Practically. There's a few little things here and there. All right. So, of course, I'm joking, folks. I have to say that nowadays, I guess. But anyway, so D-Max was producing, so he was there. Then it was the women of the podcast, which is you, Aussie Wordsmith, Purple Paw Prince, Seanry, correct?
Mhm.
All right.
Yes.
So you guys had Mitch and Kristen Ark were scheduled, right, to be on.
Yes.
Okay. But then later on, Reese called in as well, correct?
Yeah. I rewatched a little bit of the Valentine's Day recording. I think out of like everybody in Women Recording, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I've rewatched that a few times, and like
Okay.
I cringe at it every single time, and I'm like,
Okay. So
that part of me is just like I don't like
Alright.
listening to myself. So
hey, I get that. That's why, like, when I get through doing a stream, either here or over on over on Clear as Mud, if I have to go back, like if there was something that I think was worthy of like clipping out to make like a little 5 or 10 minute little video, or like even a YouTube short or stuff, if I have to go back and listen to myself, I literally feel like my blood running out of my ears, because I feel like I have the worst possible voice that you could have for something like this, right? I don't feel like it's appealing. So I get that, right? I hate listening to myself. So everybody involved in this whole thing that night were all adults, first and foremost, right?
yes, if they weren't, I'd be very concerned.
Yes. Okay. So we're all adults here.
Yes,
right.
we're all adults.
All right. So we're having a Valentine's Day special. And, you know, when you're doing something like that, it tends to be around romance, sex, chocolate, wine, you know, things like that, banter back and forth, that type of stuff. But at some point in time, there was some conversation that went that, from my understanding, Aussie Wordsmithy was uncomfortable with, correct?
Yes.
Was it just Aussie, or was there other ladies of the podcast that were uncomfortable as well?
With that particular conversation with like Reese and I think what started it was the ghost of the commentary past that we don't talk about.
Okay, yeah, that asshole. Got it.
That asshole, he was I think he was the caller before Reese.
Okay.
But like with like I definitely felt uncomfortable with like the whole talking with the asshole and stuff. Like I think that's why I preface saying I'm a nervous laugher.
Sure. Okay.
But
but for the record, the only one who kind of, so were you, I'm going to put it, I will not put words in your mouth. So here's what I'll say. When these conversations did you feel uncomfortable with the topic that was being discussed?
I think it was just like the particular story that was being discussed, because it kind of went.
Okay, so was this?
But like when it came to like most of like the topics and stuff, it's fine. I think there was like maybe one question that came up that kind of threw me, but like that wasn't because I thought I was. Okay. It just
so
hit.
Just so for my own clarification, so I understand, because we kind of jumbled some things there together, and I want to make sure I'm following it. No, that's fine. It's fine. So was this when Ghosty called in, or was this during the Reese, or was it during both?
When Ozzy spoke up, it was during Reese, because there was
Okay.
at one point
Okay.
around that area where Ozzy
Yeah.
ended up just deafening altogether.
Okay.
I just
All right.
I
So
don't remember when.
here's what I'll say. Okay. I've had a conversation with Reese. Reese called in a couple of weeks ago. Quite honestly, I'd never heard of Reese prior to this, but we were going over talking about the whole thing with Chris and Mr. Beast and all that. And Reese called in and gave me the perspective of being a trans person. And so I was very thankful that he called in and that we had a very frank conversation. But let me just say this: some people are more comfortable with talking about sexuality, right?
Yes.
And even acts of sex than other people. I get
Yes.
that, right? When I was a lot younger, okay, and I was raised in a very conservative household, right? Sex was not something that was on the table to be discussed. I was as a young lad growing up. My parents restricted me to watching very tame movies. So I grew up in a very sheltered household, right? Then when we started, we moved and kind of got away from this Bible Belt place where I lived in Arkansas and was very, like I say, very, very conservative. And I started meeting other people who were not raised that way and were very open about their sexuality and was very graphic in their talks when it came to sexuality. They would screw with me because it would make me embarrassed. I would turn very bright red, and they would do it purposely just to make me feel awkward. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Reese was doing or anything like that, right? All I'm saying is I know from conversations that I've had with Aussie Wordsmithy, she is very conservative in her beliefs as well, and she comes from a very conservative upbringing, right? So
Yes.
I kind of see her from her point of view, whatever, right? How it can be a little bit unnerving, right? To have people talk like this and how it can make you uncomfortable. And what I'll say to that is this, is that while I do respect that, okay, and she has a right, I guess, to be uncomfortable. What I will say is that just because in my situation, just because I was uncomfortable with it, doesn't mean that what they were saying or what they were doing was inappropriate or wrong. It's just that the way that I was raised, it was just a little unnerving for me. It was a little bit uncomfortable for me, right? Fast forward 30 some odd years. Now you can't embarrass me if you tried. Just for example, that video that, Matt linked on his Twitter the other day, and the dude spreading his butt and shaving his butthole, right? 30 something years ago, I would have been freaking out about that shit, right? I would have had a big issue with it. Now, 55-year-old me, I'm like, I'm more impressed that he's able to turn around and do that as far as the act itself. Okay. So, what I'm saying, and here's the only thing else I'm going to say, and then, is that this is something that I think needs to be a word of wisdom, a piece of advice that would hand anybody listening to this. If someone says something to you that you think is out of pocket, that you think is out of line or anything like that, right? What you need to do is, if you consider them a friend, is you go to them in private. You say, listen, that made me really uncomfortable. And I want you to know that. If that person is truly a friend to you, right, or friendly towards you, because we sometimes we really label this friendship thing online rather than just saying, well, we're acquaintances or we're friendly with each other. Being friends with somebody, I think, is a whole nother level above that. And I think we way too easily just say, well, we're friends, because one day you're friends and the next day you're ready to kill each other, right? You fall in and out of it way too easily with this friendship thing. But irrespective, you should go to the person to say, hey, this may be uncomfortable. And if they're friendly with you, or if they have respect, they'll say, listen, I apologize. That's not, I didn't mean to, I was just being an ass or whatever. I'd apologize, and you quash it and you go and you do the end of it. That's the end of it, right? But what you don't do, okay, and I'm sorry, this is going to come across a little bit, this is going to come across a little sexist, a little misogynist, but I don't mean it to be. It's just the way that it is. Because my wife even does this sometimes. What you don't do, women, is you don't sit on the shit for 3 to 4 months and then come out and blindside somebody and do what you did. You don't do that, because you're not giving the person an opportunity to do the right thing. You're then putting them into a corner to where, irrespective if they wanted to apologize or not, they really can't. Does that make sense?
That does. There's just one quick thing that I don't think anybody noticed when I said this.
Mm-hmm.
Both, or Mitch, D-Max, and Chris were warned that we talked about this on the episode.
Okay. So you're saying they knew ahead of time that this was going to be discussed?
They, D-Max knew a little bit more before Chris and Mitch did. I do agree that Chris and Mitch should have probably been told a lot sooner than they were. I personally went to Chris. Ozzy went to Mitch.
Okay.
And I just, I explained to Chris, I was like, this is what we talked about. And I told him straight up, Ozzy would explains it on the episode a lot better than I could through DMs, because at the time it was 1-2 my time, and
yeah,
I learned that I apparently really like wine.
Okay, all right, but they were. But hang on, just for clarification, they were not talked to or said anything to until after the recording.
That is true. Like I said, this was something that we should have.
Okay.
At the very least, probably right after the recording. And then if we had to make any sort of corrections and stuff, we should have, it should have been talked about beforehand. And I know that that's a conversation that Ozzy should have had with them. It's not something that I don't really talk with, or for Ozzy and stuff. But there was something that I had a retrospective on, going wait a minute. This wasn't
well, what I'll say is this is, first and foremost, it is y'all's podcast, and you guys can talk about whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. All right. I'm not trying to censor. I want to make that clear. All I'm saying is just for a rule of thumb, right? Just for, and yes, Zali, guys do it too sometimes. I'm not saying that guys don't sit on shit and then come back and blind somebody 3 months later. It happens, but it's not that is not the norm for guys. And unfortunately with a lot of women, it is. Okay. That's all I'm saying there. Right now, I'm just saying that if this was something that was problematic, if there was things that were said that were problematic and was upsetting to Aussie, and I really wish Aussie was here. I really do wish they were here. Then if she would have went to them before, or shortly after that episode aired or whatever, after the stream, because it was a stream, right? So after the stream, whatever,
Yes.
then guess what? There would have been nothing to talk about, and this wouldn't be an issue here, period. But you guys, what I'm saying, the problem is you did a podcast. You talked about it in this podcast. After the podcast was recorded, all said and done, in the can, ready to be done, put out, then you went and said, hey, by the way, guys, we've talked about this and this is coming out. I think that's that, which let me be clear about this. You're 100% entitled to do that, but you had to know that there was going to be blowback for this. You had to understand that there were going to be people who have issues with that. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you did not understand that there was going to be people take issues with that, then that's a whole other conversation that might need to be taking place.
No, we assumed that there was going to be a bit of pushback. We didn't expect it to blow up as big as it did, because like the thing is, I think people like Hellfire and I have tried to explain that, or more Hellfire than me.
Yeah,
has tried to explain it. It wasn't really the fact that like the jokes were being said. It was that Ozzy did put up a boundary, tried to get them to stop. Like this was more towards like the Reese
okay.
part. She did try to get them to stop. She audibly said stop a few times.
Okay.
And they just kept going and bulldozing her. Like,
okay. So I'm gonna ask you a
and
question.
Stuff. And that's what
okay.
they were.
So let me ask, okay, so that's, since you put that out there, let me ask you a question. Whose Discord were you guys in when you guys were doing this?
When I'm in recording.
Okay. Does Aussie Wordsmith have admin rights inside that Discord?
Yeah.
Could she have removed them from the stream at any time?
She could have. I know, like.
So here's
it's 2020.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. Okay. I put on a show 6 days a week on this channel. I am responsible for anyone who comes on, anything that they say. If they're saying stuff that's out of pocket, then it's my responsibility to immediately remove them and address it right then and there. Period. Now, that's one of the things that I would tell anybody that's doing a show or doing a stream. You are responsible for what comes out. You are responsible who comes on. And if they start talking, you have to own that, because here's the thing. If you let somebody on that stream and they start going out of pocket, really out of pocket, doing terms of service type stuff that can get your channel removed, I'm sorry, if you go to YouTube and say, well, I'm sorry, YouTube is not going to care. You are responsible for it, period. Right? So you have to get past this, I'm worried about offending somebody. Because if somebody's doing something that says I'm offending, that's offending you, so you're supposed to just sit and take that? No, you remove them. Period. Say, hey, I don't listen. And then you immediately address right then. I asked them to stop. They didn't respond. They didn't stop. They didn't respect my boundaries. And so that's why I removed them from the show. And it's just that simple. You handle it right then and there.
And that's something that Hellfire also told us too. It's like, we do need to take more charge. We need that one person to just pull up her big girl panties and yell a little bit.
Okay, so Shock Mouth Mitch is in the way to call. Do you have any? Okay, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. I'm gonna bring him on, and I'll give you a moment to say any last words that you want to say. The floor is yours, but I'm going to bring Mitch on here in just a minute. Okay.
Oh, like I honestly don't have any like ill will towards all the parties that were involved. I know that kind of sounds a lot different on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it was never my intention, like, because I asked the question, like, did you get an apology? It was never my intention to like start all this. It was more, I kind of realized I fucked up, and I just didn't want to overanalyze, because I kind of do that sometimes.
Okay.
And so, I just asked, and that kind of just, So
going forward, do you feel like that this can be kind of mended and that there can be some friendships restored here or friendliness restored? Or do you feel like this is like the end of the line for that?
I don't feel that way, but
Okay.
I also
Yeah.
I can't really speak for other people because like
Sure.
I'm on the line of like I don't even know like
Yeah.
who's friends and who's friendly,
Yeah.
except for like a few people, but like
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I just want the record to reflect that I like Empress. For crying out loud, I had her commission. She did artwork for me. I will use her artwork in the future. And I understand, whatever. But I would encourage you and the rest of the young ladies over there. You guys are really going to have to come together, and you're going to have to say, this is what we're comfortable with. This is what we're not comfortable with. If anybody goes across that line, we warn them, they continue, then they're gone, out of the call, out of the whatever. And you guys have to be unified in that, right? It can't just be one person putting on their big girl panties, right? You have to be as a team. You have to agree that this is what it is. And you cannot put it all on, say, for example, Aussie Wordsmithy. It cannot be just her responsibility to be the enforcer, right? You guys, if you guys come together and you have that agreement and you say, this is the line that will not be crossed for us, right? And someone starts doing it, then you or Purple Paw Prince or Seanry, right? Any of you young ladies can step up and say, hey, listen, that's a line too far. You need to back it up. Give them the opportunity to apologize right then and there. If they don't, then you say, okay, boom. And you or like say Purple or whatever can just kick them. And that be the end of it. Say, listen, they crossed the line. They were not agreeable to not do that. That's the end of that. And you handle it. The thing of a line is this: as long as you guys have an established line, right? People may not agree with that line. They may not say, well, that's too prudish for me, and I don't agree with it. But it's your line and it's your show and it's your place to do that. I believe I would, right, respect that. So, well, that was their rule. I don't necessarily like that rule, but it's their rule, so they knew that going into it, so that's that. You know what I'm saying? It's a moot point at that point. But I do hope that in the light of day, as it were, that cooler heads will prevail, and that we'll all see that this was really much to do about nothing. Period.
Yeah.
So anyway, so do you want to hang around for Mitch, or do you need to jet?
I don't mind hanging around with
Okay.
Hang on.
And if it gets
sorry.
too crazy, listen, I will protect you from the mean Mitch. All right. All right, Mitch. Now you behave yourself, sir. You behave yourself.
Hello.
Hey, don't you come in here with that potty mouth on here, sir. We don't. This is a Christian channel here, sir.
How dare you hello me? I am French. You bonjour.
Well, I'm
No,
glad you
kidding.
gave me the
I'm
heads
kidding.
up there.
All right, Mitch. So I have a question. Let's just deal with this right off the bat. Let me just let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing here real time, right? So you guys can see this. Make sure I'm on the right thing here. Boom. Okay. Can you explain this to me, sir? Oh, I need to put up here for the chat can see too. Can you explain this to me?
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. I'd like.
What is that, Mitch? Come on.
I'm gonna do a Wyman recording, throw my friends under the bus. That was Matt's idea.
Oh. Well, that sounds like a Matt Pitt deal to me. So
yeah.
All right. So Mitch, just how much do you hate the women recorder?
I don't. I'm just confused because if you're just joining the stream, ladies and gentlemen, this is all boiled down to someone got their feelings hurt and then let it be known a couple of months later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
but
gave me a
don't
heads
hate
up
'em.
days
Yeah.
before the episode came out, and I still didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, what do you mean? And then they elaborated like, oh yeah, I didn't like this and this and this. And sorry, I don't even remember anything that got said.
Yeah. And I think that's a fair assessment, right? Because there will be streams that I'll do either here on Clear as Mud, or hell, I'll hop into someone else's stream and we'll say some really just weird ass shit. And they'll say, well, you said this over here. I did. I slept. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
How did you find out about it when you woke up?
Well,
it's probably all over his timeline.
Listen, I have little birdies that feed me stuff all night long. I woke up to like Discord messages, Twitter DMs. I had it all. I was like, okay, all right, fine. We'll cover this. We'll go on this. But the bottom line is like I said, when I really started looking at this, I was like, okay. So there were some off-color jokes that were made. There was some conversation that was maybe a little bit over a line as far as comfortability and whatever. Fine. It wasn't, in my opinion, this is my opinion for the record, I don't think that it was handled properly. I think that the parties involved should have went to the people and said, hey, that was a little bit over the line for me, and it made me uncomfortable, and I didn't appreciate it. Knowing the parties involved, I believe amends could have been made. I think I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't remember that, but okay, fine. I whatever. I apologize. I think that would have happened. I really, truly do. But when you wait as long as a period of time, 3 or 4 months like it did, and then all of a sudden a day or two before the episode drops, say, oh, by the way, we talked about this and how you made me feel really uncomfortable, and it's coming out on episode. You kind of paint somebody in a corner, because you're blindsiding them, because first they didn't even know that they had done that to begin with. So the opportunity to make amends was really kind of taken away from them, right? Because are they going to pull that down and re-edit it and pull that out and amend it to say, well, we have since talked and they've apologized, and because then it kills the whole episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know. I don't like it necessarily when people who I consider that I'm friendly with, when they bicker and fight. I don't necessarily like that. Sometimes I do, because it's funny, as long as it's a funny thing we can all laugh at. And we've had a few
I can think of.
Yeah, go ahead.
This calendar year, I can think of, and I won't name them because that's not the point, 2 different people that have come to me and said, I didn't like what you said there. That hurts me. Please don't do that again. And I said, I'm sorry, I won't. Yeah. And since then, it's like highlighted in my brain, like, do not go there with that person.
Sure. And, like I said, I was telling earlier, everybody has a different line of comfortability when it comes to sexual things or just topics in general, right? Some people can't handle talking about, acts of violence that occurred, right? Was like someone broke an arm or a leg or something like that kind of stuff. They're queasy, right? They're queasy. It makes them uneasy and stuff, right? They don't want to hear that shit. And then you have people like me that I'm like, I wince a little bit, like, damn, it looks like it hurt, but idiot, you should have been doing that. I don't, you want to talk about sex? Talk about sex. Like I said, the dude shaving his butthole the other day, which is on YouTube, and how that's there, I don't know. But hey,
that was quite offensive, Matt.
Exactly, Matt. You
sorry, I swore.
Freaking degen. But I was impressed that the dude could turn around and shave his own butthole, right? I'm like, damn, how impressive is that to be able to just, to do that? And he didn't even cut himself, Mitch, which was even more impressive. So, anyway, but so now that this is all out, whatever, you don't really have any ill will or harbored feelings, right? Towards the girls. I mean,
I don't know. I'm still processing. I'm a very trusting person, but I don't know. I don't. It's not the it's some of this other stuff
Yeah.
that I've seen that's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I do believe that I do believe that, and I like Aussie. I really do. And I don't know who made the decision to put that episode out like that. I don't know who was the ultimate, as far as, we're happy with this. We're happy the way it was edited, and put it in the can and put it out. I don't know who made that decision, but I would strongly uh, encourage them that not to, you can do it. It's your channel. You do whatever the hell you want to do with it. But just understand, when you kind of blindside people like that, you're going to cause some hurt feelings, and you're going to cause some choppy waters for you. And I think that's kind of, I think that's what's going on. There's some really choppy waters right now, and some ships may be taking on a little bit of water. I hope they don't sink. And I hope that we can bail this thing out, and kind of, the thing about it is you can never go back, right? Right? You can never go back to before. You can kind of make amends or whatever, right? But there's always going to be that little bit of a doubt, right? That's just the way it is. So anyway, so let's watch what, because I had reached out but Seanry, poor thing, she's sicker than a dog. So she says she's going to address this. So this is Seanry. So let's listen to what Seanry had to say this morning about this whole situation.
Good morning, guys. Sorry if you guys have to see me like this, but I want to be honest with one thing and be very clear on this. Yes, I'm in the middle of everything right now. I'm sitting there looking as so. By the way, I'm thankful for most of you guys who sees this as well. This is something I can't address, even if I say I'm sorry so too. But this time I'm going to put my foot down and say, this has nothing to do with me, by the way. Yes, but I'm in the crossfire. I have give already advice and everything. I'm just saying that. And yes, you got to see, this is me, Seanry, in real life. I'm gonna prove it as well. För jag faktiskt pratar så här, och det är ganska enkelt. Och de som vet att jag pratar svenska, så låter jag så här. And yes, I do still very sick as well. I love the women. I love everyone in our recording so too. I love Siley as well. And I'm gonna say it too as well. I'm not afraid to take, L's either. I am very equal when it comes to every man and women. They or them can still talk and joke about it too. There are some certain people who have boundaries too. I respect that too as well. But I think everything is so fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry to say it. Emotions, they are there. Everyone has emotions. I would say I hope it's going to sort it out and take this privately. And I'm going to ask those people who are coming and asking, come to their shows and so, let Aussie decide on that. That's her call on that. Don't pressure her or anything like that. Or she take it privately. That's her call, basically. And I'm still going to be around with now recording still helper, thumbnail artist and so too as well. By the way, peace out, guys. I'm going to take a break today as well.
Okay. So the only thing I would disagree with a little bit is, and this is, as far as, her saying she's not a part of this. If you're a member of the Women podcast, you're all a part of it, because that episode went out, and it is what it is. Good, bad, indifferent. You're a part of it. Now, as far as saying, if she's, but I think there's maybe a little bit of a language barrier there a little bit. So this could be more of a deal where she says, like, she's not really going to talk about it, I guess, maybe, versus saying she's not a part of it. I don't know. Maybe that's what she meant. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, so Empress, Mitch, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I had something to say. I don't know because she said something about feelings there,
Yeah.
but yeah, I took on this. I know, how do I say it? I think it was a few years ago. I took on this motto of never let them see you bleed, which basically means, well, the way I interpret that is, it's okay to get your feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't. If you don't show it, people won't know that you're hurting, and you might look stronger. Whatever. I've had my feelings hurt too. It's like this. Yeah. No, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this. I mean, like a week ago over something else, completely different. And I took it on board, and I was like, well, they didn't know that they honestly wouldn't have known that it would.
Yeah.
But it did. And I was like, yeah, it's not up to them to moderate my feelings. That's up to me. I got to moderate my feelings, And no, I didn't go on Twitter and go on a big blah 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 because then I don't know, because of that motto. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's
I get it.
Yeah.
So are guys not do guys not have the freedom to be emotional, I guess? I mean,
well, yeah. I don't know. Get someone else in it.
All right. Well, let me bring in Seth, because evidently Seth thinks that I'm going to wreck everything. All right, Seth. So you thought I was going to wreck everything. So how am I doing?
I think Riverter, I can't say anything. You got a good take. You haven't really actually said anything that I could disagree with, because you've mostly been looking at this from a neutral perspective. But I'm gonna hijack this now, okay?
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, Mitch. But I think your guys over there are fucking retarded. Wait, can I say that on your stream?
You can say that,
Which
sure.
guys?
When
Which
you
one,
say
Beavers?
you talking about, are you talking about now recording,
agree.
or
I'm talking about, like, specifically Core and Matt, okay? Because what was said on that stream, okay? Like, the only thing that Empress said was, like, she asked if she'd gotten an apology. There's no need for an apology or anything, and Core just tweets the fucking shit and blows it up for no goddamn reason.
Well,
like,
yeah,
there was no
that. Core had a reason.
What was Core's reason?
Because Core's a shit stirrer.
Yeah, because he's a piece of shit. Okay,
well,
good.
I wouldn't say he's a piece of shit.
Okay,
but,
I don't like him. I don't like him.
But let me tell you, I appreciate a good shit stirring. I really, truly, I do.
I don't appreciate it. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
So the tweet of Core saying, apologize, Chris and Mitch. How is those, 4 words enough to kick off all this?
Yeah, well, it wasn't, okay? Because there's also that Hellfire girl, okay? She blew that up as well, because she was just getting involved for no reason as well, even though, like, obviously she was on the podcast, so of course she's going to have something to say about it. But she took that fight for no reason.
All right, so
like, there was no need for this.
So this
is that the one that I called an idiot?
Probably. I just
okay.
Sorry,
Empress.
She's an idiot. Yeah, I think she's an idiot.
Yeah. All right, so this is the tweet in question. This is the one Core tweeted this out last night, about 9:30. I'd probably been in bed for about 30 minutes at this point. Says, apologize, Chris and Ark and Shockmouth. And there's this. It's a clip from the most recent Women Recording podcast. And then he comes in here and says, Mitch, official response. I'm not apologizing to someone who takes almost 3 months to come out with that they were offended.
Yeah, that's a funny response. Like, that's fine. I don't think Mitch did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong on the original podcast or whatever. But I also think them talking about something on their podcast that like happened a while ago. That's fine for them to do. If they want to talk about that, let them do it. There was no need to like tweet about it like they were like asking for an apology or asking for something to happen. They were just having a conversation.
Yeah. So Chris and Ark just laughs. Matt says he's listening to the dreaded Valentine's Day stream and I ain't hearing anything apology worthy. Now I haven't listened. There's all kinds of. What's that?
Well, the particular call-in with Reese, they were talking about how they made money off of taking a picture of their asshole. I love how assholes is just the theme of today's stream.
Yeah. Well,
just like that, I think at that point, I think everybody was just tired. Like Chris was in the middle of his 24-hour stream, and stuff. And
well, if you really think about it, most of the people who are on YouTube, we are assholes. Really, truly, we are to a certain degree. Some are bigger than others. Even myself, I can be an asshole at times. I mean, just ask Dave. Hell, ask my sons. They'll tell you I'm an asshole. Because I just love to screw with people. So, when Core does this, I appreciate that. Game, acknowledges game. I understand the shit stirring. And Core's probably one of the best shit stirrers there is out there. He's grade A with it. So, and the thing about it is if we didn't have people like Core out here stirring shit, a lot of times we wouldn't have things to talk about. And that's just the truth of the matter. So.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's being talked about much more seriously, isn't it?
Not for me.
Matt is going on this fucking tirade, dude. Matt fucking goes on this fucking tirade about this thing that they fabricated. He did. There's like 15 tweets.
Here's the thing. He does call out Hellfire. Right. This is the one where is this the one? Hang on here, or was it Xylee? Maybe I think this is the one where Xylee. Maybe this was here. This is probably the one you're talking about where Reese. I think this is the one where Reese was.
Hannah. Don't tell me to cube the women. That sounds weird.
Okay. No, that's not the one. Hang on.
Wants to know what is your ideal.
Oh, that's the one where they were asking Mitch what his ideal thing was. And I agree. That is a perfect date for me, right?
I mean, that isn't honestly what I do for a perfect first date. Not at all.
Well, granted, it's not your typical first date, but it is the perfect first date, right?
I mean, it's the perfect topper.
Right.
I think Purple had the best first date. She had the best first date.
What was Purple's?
Air hockey, and I think it was dinner.
Well, I was going to say
air hockey was involved.
So you go.
How long can you play air hockey for?
Right.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I mean, but air hockey is so sexual. It's a very sexual game.
Yeah, like balls and sticks and
No. Air hockey is a little flat puck and the little hand thing.
Okay, flat balls and sticks.
Yeah, the whole thing is you're trying to get the puck inside the hole. I mean, there's a lot of pucking in the hole. So.
I've never heard somebody explain a puck as a flat ball before. This is a new one. Thank you so much.
Seth,
I'm foreign. Don't make fun of me.
But no, I did hear the little section. There was a clip here somewhere. I'm not sure. I don't know where the clip was at. Maybe it was this in here.
There we go. Hi, Reese.
Hello. Hi,
yeah, this is the Reese one here.
Love. How are we
Yes.
tonight?
No, doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I just want to say sex work is based.
I honestly don't remember this call.
Nice.
You don't?
You do make some.
No.
Well, see right there, Mickey Mitch.
I'm in it.
You were in it. You can't deny it.
That's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother?
I don't go by Mickey Mitch.
I will tell you that.
See, I'm smart. I'm not that smart, but
That's true. Yeah, fuck yeah. I can get paid like I think I got paid like $200 for uploading a photo of my asshole once. I think.
Well, what's wrong with that? If somebody want to pay me $200 for a picture of my butthole, first of all, I'm gonna have to talk my wife into getting involved because I'm not like that dude. I can't get that angle, right? So I'm gonna have to get her involved, which means she's gonna take half of it. So I'm really not even gonna get 200. I'm gonna get like 100 of it. But hey, why not? I mean, I don't. But anyway, so the whole thing was Reese was talking about he got paid to take a picture of his butthole. So that's what was offensive. I don't.
The truth is, okay, it doesn't fucking matter, okay, because if Ozzy is offended by that, that's fine for her to be offended by that. That's up to her.
Sure.
Isn't it?
Sure. 100% it's up to her whether or not she's offended. But if it upset her or whatever, then why didn't she? I don't know. I just don't like the idea that you
listen,
don't go.
Listen, you're an old experienced man.
Yeah.
You're not like a young, unsure of herself woman. Okay.
Okay.
And she wasn't calling for anything to happen out of this. I feel like she's brought into this like unfairly. That's what I feel like, because she wasn't calling for anything. She was just like talking about something that happened.
Yeah, but okay, but the question was asked and was put to Hellfire, was it not?
Or no, I asked the question if Ozzy received an apology after or before I apologized, because like I said, when Ozzy was explaining it, I kind of went, fuck, I fucked up and stuff, but like...
Yeah, so she wasn't asking for an apology. Like, Empress was just asking if they did. And, you know, if they didn't, that's also fine, because they aren't supposed to pick up on it. It was Hellfire's
opinion that, I want to say that it was Hellfire that said that she should get an apology, but it's not. Or fuck. Or, there's a... Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
my brain's now shutting down.
I get that it's hard to explain, like, someone else's stance or what they said. Like, that's hard. I don't think you should have to explain it. Like, I think that Hellfire chick should probably be in here, if we're being honest.
Well, I did it.
She lives on the West Coast. She's asleep.
Yeah.
I'm foreign. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
No. I'm not done here. Okay, I'm just.
No.
I'm not done here.
I was talking about Leon. Leon said thanks for the it said nice mic. I appreciate that. It's a beacon system. Check them out. They're pretty good.
I thought you were gonna kick me. I thought you were gonna kick me for a second, because I got no platform.
Yeah,
I got no platform, people.
Well, why don't you have a platform? Why don't you have a platform, Seth?
Too much work. Too much work. I just prefer hijacking your platform.
Okay. So I'm going to bring in Abby is wanting in, so I'm going to bring her in for just a minute. All right, Abby, what's on your mind?
My mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have my mind. Okay.
Are you drunk again?
Again, I'm never drunk. Okay, first of all.
Okay.
Okay, no. Okay, I'll be straight up, because I was really frustrated with this podcast. Okay, first of all, and I messaged Empress. Okay, and Empress said, "I'm sorry," and I was like, "What the fuck are you sorry for? I have no idea what you're sorry for." But my thing is like, Mitch is a grown ass man, and Chris is a grown ass man, and the way I've heard them talk about women, or at least with Chris the narc, they've experienced women. So, what do you think their mind is when it comes to Valentine's Day?
Sex.
Thank
Spending money.
Well, yeah, that too. But you spend money to get the sex, bro. You pay for the pussy. It's how it works, bro. It's just how it is. But
facts.
And I've dealt with. I mean, I talked to Empress, and me and her had a back and forth. I was frustrated because I was brought up with the whole Chris debacle, which nobody ever asked my side of. But that's nonetheless, I don't think anything was pressed on as far as Chris, and Lord knows I have no reason to, push against that. and anything with Mitch or anybody else that was even in the chat. I don't know anything about Ghosty. Honestly, I fucking left when I heard his disgusting, repulsive voice. But nonetheless, when it comes to them, I don't think anything was wrong. I think the fact that it was felt almost forced that Hella and Horrifire, whatever the fuck her name is, was pressing them so hard to get an apology, which I think is disgusting to do during anybody else's podcast. Is gross. And two, I agree with Peepaw's thing being like, if you're gonna publish this, why publish this publicly when you didn't need to include the whole fact of the matter that they owe you, which nobody owes you anything. If you want an apology, especially 3 months later, nonetheless, you talk to them directly. And that's where I stand.
Okay.
That's I like 500% agree with like mostly everything you said. But I think what really pissed me off is that like Matt Pitt said that like, oh, Purple Portraits and Seanry wasn't really involved, blah 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 or whatever, right? And it's like that makes it seem like Aussie had any take in this, and she really didn't. Like
I
the
think
Hellfire and Horror
and
or whatever you
Hellfire was
called.
very much so like
Yeah.
like dick on the table, like over and over. You owed an apology, and I'm like, Mitch and Chris don't owe you shit, bro. You know how long of an apology I got from Chris and Ark 3 months later? It was 60 seconds. It was 59 fucking seconds. Okay, nobody owes you shit. Okay, shut up.
Suck your own butt.
Yeah, but I still think it's like if Matt Pitt or fucking Core or whatever like think they have to like if they're like they're rotting Mitch and fucking.
I think
like,
Core was just being funny.
Yeah, well he's not funny. He's like a Spurg or whatever. But like if they're gonna act like they're being rotted, then like fuck off, because they're not being rotted. They brought this up themselves.
Just 1 second, guys. I got a donation. Anonymous tipped $1 and said, I side with Mitch. So, Mitch,
I
you
stand
have
with
support.
Mitch and Chris.
There you go.
Let's go.
All right. Well, thanks, Abby. You have a good day.
Ozzy's also in chat here. She is suffering from illness and stuff. Yeah. And she is really overwhelmed. She says,
Yeah, I
I'll
see
only
that.
make one statement.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
you read
Says,
that, actually.
She says, I will only make one statement for the moment. I have a fever and anxiety is overwhelming at the moment. I don't want apologies. I know I did some stuff wrong and I can improve, but I don't want an apology. I just want to state that I was uncomfortable in that video. Okay. So, Aussie, I don't know how much of the stream that you've listened to, whatever. If you want to call in, I promise you that you will be given as much time as you want to talk about this morning. I'm going to even delay starting my work day. We're going to give this as much time as it's needed. I think there is some criticism to be laid here. I don't know exactly whose feet they get laid at, but there are some criticism. I did go over that. But like I say, if you want to call in, but if you don't understand that you're probably being a little bit overwhelmed right now. That's at your discretion. So anyway, Aussie's private if you're able to. Yeah, if Aussie wants to talk about afterwards, I'm more than welcome. She can reach out to me. Aussie has reached out to me in the past. Here's the thing. I'll say this. I am probably one of the most accessible people out there. If you come to me and you want to talk in private, I will talk to you in private. I will warn you though, if you are a female and you want to have a voice conversation with me, I'm going to let you right now, I will record it. Not because I'm a creep, but I just have this policy in real life. I will never be alone with a woman and have a conversation with them that is not my wife. And I have the same policy online as well. So if I'm recording it, then we're not alone, and I can release, if anything was ever to be accused of me, I'll put that recording out. So
that's a good policy.
And it's not to say that I think women would try to anyway snake me. I have that policy, period. So just be forewarned on that. So Leanna Tyler, well, I can't listen, Leanna. If you want to call into the show, you can, but you're gonna have to go to the waiting room there in the now recording Discord, and I'll bring you in, hon. All right. So Beavers,
now
you've been in waiting and call for a while. So, all right, well, the clear as mud. Hell, you know.
I get
how
it.
I am.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute.
So anyway, so what do you think about this? This is one of your brothers in arms. I know you don't like him, but he's still your
hates me.
brother-in-law. Yeah.
Well, I have a question for Mitch, right? And then I'll get into the Aussie thing and the Matt thing.
Okay.
So I didn't know this because I honestly don't pay attention to them. But apparently, Mitch, you knew about this beforehand?
No,
Like
I
you were
got told
DM'd
a couple
about
of days. I got told a couple of days before. Give me a sec.
No,
I just want to know.
a couple
right?
days.
Let me
before.
just make the point, right? If you were told beforehand and they told you that this was going to be in the episode and they were going to discuss it, then I feel like you had a responsibility at that point to tell them talk shit, get hit. Right? Like if you're going to release this on me, know that I will respond. Right?
Well, okay. What I got told
I feel
was,
like that is in all fairness.
David, what I got told was, I thought I'd let you know the upcoming episode when I'm recording, we talk about the Valentine's Day stream and my feelings on it. Just giving you a heads up. And I was like, what? What about it? And she said, just that I was uncomfortable with the humor. It got too sexual for my liking. And I sent back a clip from the Street Fighter movie of Bison when he says, I'm sorry, I don't remember any of it, which was true.
All right, then I feel like they could have also been a bit more clear to you.
Yeah, it was a bit vague. I didn't think anything of it. I was like,
No,
okay.
that was like one thing that like even I said where it's like we should have, or at least Ozzy.
And Kristen
because
Ark also got one at the exact same time. We did the calculations.
Did we
on the
actually?
timestamps and then our time zones? It was like they had their two nuclear keys and went right. The messages
that's
have been
kind
sent.
of funny because I thought she did. I thought she sent hers like way before mine because I was like, I'm gonna chicken out, think about what I'm gonna say. And,
Oh, that was an accident.
It was completely on accident.
That was a coincidence. Okay,
it was a
we
coincidence.
just thought that was funny.
It was a coincidence. I promise. No, but like that is a criticism that like we should have come to you, and I keep saying we as like the whole podcast, like because I think Riverter is right. It's not just on Aussie. Like even though like it was Aussie, and that did feel uncomfortable, but I think like we should have come to you first, or at like the very least probably let you guys listen to the episode before it aired, and then I think hindsight is a shitty thing, mate. What's up?
Mitch could have also asked for clarification if he wanted it, couldn't he?
Yes, he could.
I didn't care.
Yeah, you don't care, so that's
No.
also like I no criticism for you, by the way. You're great, sweetie.
I don't care about a stream from 3 months ago unless like a crime was committed
exactly
unbeknownst to me, and then it's like, oh Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying if that's a criticism, like I mean, if it were like it was kind of even because you could have, if you cared, you could have asked for clarification.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. Right?
And
Both
like I
parties
know
could've been
with
more
like
clear.
the recording of the episode too, like we did record it like a month in advance, and then we had the whole issues with like editors and stuff, and like it took a long time to come out. And like what I was trying to do is I was trying to do like one of those retrospective, like, okay, like Hellfire was supposed to be on the Valentine's Day episode. She was also supposed to be on the vet episode. So we talked about that. I didn't anticipate that for the Valentine's Day episode. Like I knew her thoughts on it. I just didn't anticipate all that coming out, and I rolled with the punches because literally like the docket just says like Valentine's Day special.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I think the takeaway from all this, or I hope the takeaway from all this, and it's not just for Empress or Aussie or Purple or Seanry, but everybody inclusive is to remember that when you have a show, when it's yours, right, you're responsible for it, right? So you have to learn, you have to be an adult. There's no other way to put it, right? And if somebody is saying something or doing something that is it's look at it like this. When you have a YouTube channel, you're doing a live stream, you're whatever it is, that's your house, right? So if somebody came into the middle of your living room and squatted and took a big shit in the middle of your living room, right? You're not going to tolerate that. You're going to tell them to get the fuck out of your house. And you're going to throw them out of your house.
Clean it first, then
Well,
I'll kick them out because I ain't touching somebody else's shit.
Well, fine. I mean, fair point. But you get my point. The bottom line is you're not going to tolerate it, and you're going to show them the door and say that's the end of that, right? And chances are you may never have them back on, or if they come to you and say, "Listen, apologize. I didn't, whatever," right? And you can do that 100%, right? I think hopefully my hope or is this can just be a little slight misstep, a little learning experience. I know Aussie is really young. I mean, I know she's in her early 20s. I think the rest of the ladies over on the Women Recording are young as well. So you can kind of put this underneath your rucksack, and you can say, "Hey, this is a lesson learned, misstep, go forward." And be that. Yeah.
I have 2 more points I want to make.
Go ahead, make them, Beavers. I'm sure they're riveting.
All right. So the first point, and people have said it before, I just want to say it clearly, right? Is that when you have a freak like Mitch on and a cross-dresser transsexual on your podcast, right? Things are going to get sexual. They are. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like if you have me on your podcast, you're going to have a bit of misogyny thrown in there.
Sure.
Right? It just is what it is. So acting surprised when that happens or being offended when that happens, I can feel no sympathy for you. Right? Because it's like inviting
but can we talk about the better takeaway? Can we talk about the better takeaway here?
What's that?
Block Core, never speak to Core, and tell Matt to fuck off.
Okay, now that was going to be my next point. Right?
Oh my god, I can't believe we agree.
No, it wasn't going to be agreeing with you. Right?
I can't believe we agree.
Core stirred the shit.
Riverter, kick him before he says anything else.
Yeah, he did. He posted my DM, and I didn't say he could. He did that just to stir shit.
Yeah,
right.
But that's what Core does. That's what Core does. Okay.
Although Beavers has done that too, to be fair. He's also posted DMs.
Yes, we've got the Core in the equation, right? Let's look at the Matt Pitt. The thing that Matt is upset at, right? And I feel like he's perfectly entitled to be, is the hypocrisy of what you are offended by.
Yes.
Right? Because when Mitch and Rice, the trans person, were in that stream and they made sexual jokes, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly I feel uncomfortable. But there are examples of the hosts on Women Recording making sexual jokes.
Yes.
And those haven't been cut.
Oh, that's such
there
a
was
moot point.
What
Seth,
do you mean?
I hate you. Okay,
how's that a moot point? Because if you're offended by it,
here's the
and
thing.
Ozzy goes around,
she wasn't. Because, she was. Like, the Empress apologized to her because she also did, stir it up a little bit.
Why is everyone bitching about Chris and I?
No one's bitching about. No, that's the thing. You're not being
sure?
rotted. Matt and Cora is making it up that you're being rotted. You're not.
In that clip that I showed, the only 3 that were mentioned was Mitch, Chris, and Reese. Not Seanry talking about butthole lickers. All right. Not about when Mitch did his joke, everybody said based that it was funny, and not the other jokes that were going on. But we're going to talk about Mitch, Chris, and Reese. and not everybody else. The
I might
whole
take
stream
the
was
L
like
on that,
that.
actually, Siley. I might take the L on that, but I think the reason for it is because, and Empress, you can correct me, is because they probably had that conversation in private.
Exactly. And here's the thing that bothered me. In my clip that I put out there, she said herself, "Oh, I don't care. I'm still friends with them. If they're your friends, you know Chris and Mitch, just like I know Chris and Mitch. You know you could have went to them, and especially Mitch. Mitch is soft. He would have apologized probably right then and there."
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty
Okay. So she's saying that they're my friends, but yet it doesn't come out until 3 months later on a podcast.
Well, I mean, it's you. Yeah, you could have talked to them about
You don't
it, but
treat your
like
friends
having.
like that.
I think it's fair talking whatever you want.
Oh
on your
no, I
podcast.
agree. I agree. Freedom of speech, 100%. I 100% get you. But here's the thing about freedom of speech. There's the consequences to that speech too.
Yeah, exactly.
And the consequences. How come you didn't
And the
say anything to
consequence
me?
wasn't. To me, the consequence was that like fucking Core and Matt freaked out. That's the consequence.
So
No reason.
I'm just gonna step in here really quickly. There is one part people seem to miss when Ozzy actually said that to a certain extent she was okay with the overly sexual jokes. To a certain extent, it was when she reached her limit. When she vocalized that she reached her limit was when the boundaries weren't respected.
Okay, but what's that extent? Because from the outside looking in, it seems very much that the boundary is when a male is making that sexual joke. From the
True.
outside looking in, that's what it looks like.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And now I can get it, right? If you're in an IRL situation and there's a man making sexual jokes around you, right? That you can get offended and a woman can do it and maybe it's whatever. But we're online, right? We're all kind of equal in the space.
She came to me privately too, and like I asked because we had an animatic on the sorry, we had a little animation thing, really shitty animation, but I tried, okay, of one of those, and I talked to her about it, and I was like, "Do you want were you okay with this and stuff?" And like she told me like later on, like it actually did make me feel uncomfortable, I get like.
That's the whole thing, Empress. She came to you privately. She didn't go to Chris and Mitch, but yet she's saying on this podcast that they're her friends. That's the whole thing, Empress. She came to you privately. She didn't go to Mitch and Chris privately, but yet they're her friends? What?
And when was this on the timeline? Like, how long after the stream?
A little bit after. Way after, actually.
Way after. Okay. So she had time to sit on it.
Yeah.
And
And
dwell
people,
on
I'm sorry, I disagree with you
Okay.
on putting on all the women recording, because this is why. Because Ozzy goes around saying it's her podcast, it's her channel, it's her everything. So you know what? It's on her then.
I don't think that's fair. I don't
No,
think
I
that's
think
fair.
it is, because if she can go around saying that it's my podcast, it's my this, it's my that, then she can take the repercussions from it too. You don't get to
Well,
pick and
Beavers
choose when it's
goes
yours or
around
not.
saying like now recording his podcast, but like
Yeah,
it-
but
it
Beavers is
isn't.
me. But Beavers is memeing when he's saying that. Aussie is
No,
serious.
no,
when
he
she
genuinely
says it.
thinks it. He's got a big head. He's got
Well,
a big head.
have a big
no,
head.
but to be fair, right? If anything ever went down with now recording, right, it would be me and Matt swinging the punches at people.
Yes.
No, it
Right?
would be Matt. Matt owns you.
Matt does not own me.
He owns you.
Matt does not own me. It
Be
is
honest.
my
Be
podcast.
honest. Just say it.
Can-
Just say it.
Can I raise my hand?
Hey,
here?
Beavers, I'd swing a bit too.
Okay, so to Zali's point, I know that Aussie in the past is kind of. She said that's quote her, so she may be the more dominant personality in that podcast. That's a fair.
She said it on that stream.
Okay.
She said, "This is my live stream, and we're not going to do this." She said it in that stream.
Okay. Well, so I think it's safe to say that when you have a collaborative endeavor like women recording or the broadcast now recording clear as mud, you're going to have a quote leader, right? There's going to be somebody that's going to be the head of the captain of the ship, if you will, right? And Aussie very well could be that if Aussie is, I would say if Aussie is putting forth that narrative, she might want to be a little bit more cautious about that, because for the very reason that you stated there, Zali. I mean, if she's going to put on that word and she said, this is mine, and she's treating, and if she's looking at, not treating, let me rephrase that. If she's looking at people like Empress and Seanry and Purple Paw Prince as more or less like just talent, right? Or people that she's bringing onto her podcast, then ultimately everything's going to fall right at her feet. And she's going to have to take the blunt of it. I mean, that's why I was always real clear about everything that I did over on Clear as Mud, just, initially with Banana it was a cooperative. It was cooperative or whatever. It was 50-50. It was not me, whatever.
Yeah, y'all truly work as partners. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
But still, people think that's
I feel
my
like
podcast.
she's kind of admitted it, though, right? Like she said that the reason that episode is still up is because Seanry and Empress and Purple have some kind of sway in it.
Sure.
Like it's
Yeah, I'm not
podcast.
saying they don't have a sway, but she even went on DeadOnDave and said it was hers.
Yeah.
She has told all
but
across the internet.
I'll go on and say Clear as Mud is my podcast as well. But it's like if it's a collaboration, I'll still say my podcast.
Well, yeah, I understand that, Seth, but she's literally saying, like, when she was on that live stream, she is saying, "This is my live stream." She literally said those words, like, "This is my live stream." In other words, it is her, but she's not. What you're doing is you're giving her the grace that she's not saying she owns it. She is saying she owns it.
Well, I mean, that's just, we can't really know exactly what she meant by those words when it could be said in tandem with the other words, I suppose.
No.
I can't if I've heard her said it
Xylee is, well,
Xylee is right.
It works really weirdly.
Xylie's right.
Stop kneeling on me. I have such an easy time rolling all of these other people. Xylie's just kneeling on me.
Like
Xylie's right, isn't she, Empress?
For the most part, it is a collaborative. We do, like, a lot of times, like we will bring stories and stuff, and like if one of us doesn't want to do it, or I think a really good example was Seanry wanted to do something that pertained to Russia, and I told her, like, I can't do that right now. My dad's in the Canadian military, and I live on base housing. That's not going to look good for us right now. So like I told her, like, we can't really do that. But for the most part, yes, it was Ozzy that started it. Ozzy does own the channel of Women Recording. When we do get donations, it does go through Ozzy. Ozzy does a lot of the administration work and stuff.
And Ozzy also tells people that it's hers.
That is true.
Thank you.
Does.
Thank you.
But
My
she
point
does.
rests.
Have you ever said, like, my podcast when you talked about it?
Oh my god. Yeah. Possibly, yes. I never thought that, like, I owned the podcast, though. Like,
well,
I've always, for myself,
I've always been under the impression that, like, though? That's just speculating. It's just
you can tell by the tone she's used.
Thank
she says it.
Yeah, well, I can tell by your tone you're a retard. Pipe down.
Yeah, listen, Seth, I get what you say about Beavers, but Beavers is right. He really is right about that.
Yeah, I just hate him. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
Seth.
That was not a pugging.
Hey, at least she's being honest about it, right?
True.
I'm gonna say this, Empress, okay? Let me just put this out there. And this is for anybody. If you're part of a podcast, and if it's truly a collaborative thing, you have to take ownership in that. You have to understand that, if I started up a podcast and then and it was just me, and I said, well, then I start bringing people in. Okay, that's mine. And I'm bringing in these co-hosts, right? Or I'm having a show, whatever, right? But in a situation like with the Women Recording, right, I feel like, because there was never any episodes on there that I'm aware of where it was just Aussie Wordsmith, and then she brought in one or two people, and then eventually she brought in this cast of co-hosts that, from the get-go was you guys as a collective unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage you guys, again, this goes back to communication. And that's why I said, you guys at the very beginning of the stream, you guys have got to sit down as a cohesive unit and have a conversation and say, okay, this is what is okay. This is what is not okay. What is your, and even add into it, expand now to what is our level here? Like, are we partners? Are we just entertainment? Is this our podcast? And if it's not, if it truly is just Aussie wordsmithy, then you guys need to know that. You guys need to get that established. She could still be the captain of the ship, as it were, right? But you've got to get that, you've got to have that communication. It just seems like to me, all of this from the beginning to the end, right, has just been a lack of communication with people.
Mm-hmm.
And, here's the thing about it. Everybody in this call right now, we all do a lot of damn talking. We talk about people, we talk at people, but how many of us are really talking with people? Which means you're listening to what they're saying as well. I think we need to start doing a lot more talking with and not at or about. Now, don't get me wrong. I love talking about people and laughing at them. And I love shit stir. And that's why I can appreciate Core. Because he is grade A number one.
I don't know why you
shit
brought
stir.
it back to being good to Core. I hate that.
I love Core.
Core is okay.
He is a piece of shit. Can I re-articulate myself and
I
then
love
maybe
Core.
Siley
Go right
can
ahead.
check me?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Seth.
So I think Siley is probably right about a lot of the stuff.
Mhm.
Maybe Aussie could have been more communicative. She could have taken, responsibility for what she says is her podcast. But that doesn't change the fact that I feel like Core and Matt blew this out of proportions for no reason because it was a slow news day and they're like fucking annoying.
No, I do agree with Xylee after like a few hours of letting everybody go off and stuff, and also I was attempting to sleep. It did not work.
Me too,
I do
girl. I only
agree
got
that-
like 2.5 hours. I feel you.
I haven't slept at all. I am running on pure coffee, adrenaline, and I think a little bit of like edible from like last night. No, but like I agree that they should have been reached out before this happened. Like I didn't expect like all this to kind of like go down on that podcast, and when it did, it should have been brought to their attention right away, as opposed to us going like or waiting and stuff. And I know that like the release schedule was really weird on that. I am sorry about how all this went down. I did not mean to stir shit and stir drama. That was honestly not my intention.
I don't think it
And-
was your intention. I don't think it was
It
your
was Core's
intention at
intention,
all.
though. It was Core's intention.
I don't think. No, I'm talking about the actual recording. I don't think it was your intention. You probably, I don't know, maybe you thought that nobody was really going to watch it or something. But 3 months after, and yet I'm still friends with them, and I haven't said a word to them. That's not your friend. And I'm talking about Aussie. I'm not talking about you. Like you, it was so funny. You, Empress, and you, wherever you are, Hellfire. I still call her THS because I can't. I hate that
every
name.
once in a while I keep calling her THS. I'm like,
Yeah, I still call her THS because I hate that name. Okay, THS and K, you two were coming at me like I was getting on y'all. My whole thread was about Aussie. It wasn't about y'all.
I just wanted to give context. That was really.
But
all
your
no, that
context, what? That you recorded it a month earlier and it came out a month later, it still would have been months after it happened. It doesn't matter whether it's 3 months or 2 months.
That's fair.
I guess
that
we're
is
just
fair.
always gonna fundamentally agree on it because I really don't think they did much wrong about talking about it.
Yeah, I don't care about the fact that they're talking about it, but like honestly, if Aussie, here's the problem. If Aussie would have went to Mitch and Chris and talked to them about it, and then they would have talked about it on the podcast like a retrospective, okay, cool. Nobody can say anything because Chris and Mitch has already been talked to and they already talked it over, blah, blah, blah. But if you put that out on that podcast, you got to expect that Chris and Mitch was going to say something. There's nothing wrong with putting it on the podcast.
I feel like it
You
was
have
a
all-
retrospective. Is
you
what
have
I'm feeling.
Yeah, but it was a retrospective that wasn't solved. It wasn't resolved. That's the problem.
Maybe
It was never
maybe,
resolved.
but can we go back to the fact that Mitch didn't? He wasn't a little bitch about it. Core and Matt was a little bitch about it.
Yeah, but you know what? Core and Matt was sticking up for their boy, just like I would stick up for my
They're
boy
acting
too.
like they're sticking up for their boys. You
They
know they
were.
don't give a fuck. Core and Matt
Seth,
just want to talk about shit.
Seth, why do you think I did that? Well, then you got to put me in that category too. Why do you think I did that, Fred? Because I was sticking up for my boys.
Yeah, but it's different because I like you.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair
At least she's honest.
No, I think it's like now that they brought it up, it's a fair thing to just like talk about. And I think your criticisms are all right now that it's a topic to talk about. But it wouldn't have been a topic to talk about if they didn't like blow this up.
Well, I don't think that necessarily, I wouldn't say that it was blowed up. They just took a segment from a podcast and put it out there. And so would it have gotten as much attention? Maybe not. But here's the other side of that coin too, right? Now that podcast has got attention. There's more eyes on that podcast, right?
True.
Potentially, the Whammon Recording podcast is now going to get a whole nother audience of eyes looking at it that it never looked at. So bad publicity is not always a horrible thing either, right? Drama is not always. Now, the thing of a question boils down to is all these additional eyes, all these different things, are you guys going to be able to, I understand, because when all of a sudden, when I started having, 30, 40, 50 people watching me on a live stream, and all of a sudden my VODs were getting 200 and 300 views, I was freaking out a little bit because I was like, all of a sudden, all these eyes are watching me. And I was like, how am I going to misstep? How am I going to screw this up? Because it's inevitable. I know my fat mouth is going to say something that's going to get me in trouble. And that old saying, my alligator mouth overload my jaybird ass. I know I'm going to get into that situation. It's just a matter of time. But so there could be some growing pains there, but this is not necessarily a bad thing either, right? It's all a matter of perspective and how you spin it. So,
Yeah, I think you're right. There's some things like the Siley checked Aussie, and I think that's a good thing. And I think that them getting a lot more views, maybe if they're able to turn in a good way, that's a good thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's dumb of Matt and Core to act like they've been rotted, or that Mitch has been rotted when he really hasn't.
Well,
I feel like they were. I feel like Mitch and Chris were.
I would disagree with you a little bit there. Well, hang on. I won't disagree with you a little bit there, Seth. I 100% believe that they were blindsided.
Because they had the chance to talk about it, but Mitch was like, "No, I'm not going to because it's stupid," which it is.
No, that's not true. Okay, Chris or Seth, and if I misspeak here, Mitch, you please correct me. Mitch said that he and Chris both got alerted that they were going to talk about this stream at the same time, relatively speaking. And it was like, what, a day or so before the podcast went live. Okay, so what is it that they're supposed to say or do? Are they supposed to fire up a collaborative stream and preempt it or whatever? Because they don't know what's being said. Mitch says that he don't even remember that stream to begin with, right? So they're having to go back and rewatch this stream to even see what was said. So I don't know. I mean, I do believe they were kind of blindsided, right?
Yeah, because Mitch had a whole day to say, "Can I see that? Can we talk about this?" And he didn't because it was stupid.
Yeah, because it's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I will, like, honestly, the Valentine's Day stream was just a fucking hot mess. I think everybody's like,
are the other streams not hot messes?
No, that's very true. Those are also very much hot messes. We at Whammon Recording apparently are really bad at live streams. We're trying.
The sad thing is it sounded like when you go back and listen to that stream, it sounded like, except for at one point with Aussie, it sounded like y'all were having a good time.
Yeah.
That's the sad part about all this. Like Chanry's joke, like the whole butthole being a cube butthole was funny. Chanry talking about booty lickers was funny. Mitch's dumbass joke was funny. It was like everybody was having a good time, and then all of a sudden it sounded like, and from an outsider's perspective, it sounded like all of a sudden Aussie wasn't having a good time. After about an hour of having a good time, because it sounded like he was doing the church girl meme, like, okay, like normal people. Okay, I want to hear an answer from normal people. The normal people, that's the kind of shit that I say on my stream when they start acting like that. Yeah. It sounded like she was memeing to everybody else. I can understand where people weren't picking up the cues with her. I can.
Yeah, and that's where you checked her, because I do feel like that was her responsibility to say that.
Yeah.
And I would never have picked up on it because I'm retarded.
But what I don't get, Seth.
What do you want to say, Beavers? I was about to say
I'll be right back.
You know what?
I'll be
Go
right
ahead.
back.
I love you.
Okay, what I don't get is, so I wasn't awake when it all happened, but the stream and whatever got brought to the attention in our group chat, and then Matt and Core and I assume Mitch went and listened to it, and they just took issue with what Ozzy said.
I didn't listen to it.
Okay, so Matt did.
Because
I know
I
Matt
still
did.
don't care.
Right, but if you take issue with what somebody says, why can't you talk about it on your Twitter feed?
No, you can talk about it on your Twitter feed, but I feel like, and this is the problem I've always had with now recording. Like, I feel like there is a moral gray area where you guys know that sometimes, especially before, I haven't watched your newer shit, but you were having people on who were emotionally more vulnerable, and having people on who were like not ready for the kind of conversations you were bringing them into. And I feel like that's what's happening here. Like, Aussie it's like punching down. I feel like there is a moral gray area in punching down like that.
So what? Just because you're smaller than me, you can say whatever you want and I can't talk about you?
No, but you
that's what
can't
you're
talk
saying.
about it. No, what I'm saying is you can talk about it, but there's no reason to bring it up like someone intentionally rotted you.
He took issue with what she said.
Yeah, and then he went on like a fucking tirade about it.
He did too many
tweets.
But here's the thing, Matt. Let me look out here, okay? Let me look at Matt's tweet. There's the timeline.
Anything above 2 tweets is a tirade.
Okay, well,
Oh,
now we have that timeline. We have that set. I go on tirades all the time, then, Seth.
I do too.
Because I have a problem. I may be a little bit of a Twitteraholic. I'm not going to lie. So let's look out here at how many things he actually talked about this. All right, there's one. He's retweeting Shocked Mouth's or Mitch's top meme on Conor McGregor. So there's one. He throws a thing where it's Homer Simpson, I guess, burning the bridge. I guess we can allude to that's possibly about it as well.
That's two.
That's two.
He's on a tirade, baby.
Oh, I guess my thread was a tirade then too.
Yes.
But then again,
So
I
is
love
there a
making
limit?
threads. I love making threads, and it just gave me an opportunity to make a
Yeah,
thread.
but it's
so.
okay when you do it because I love you.
Is
Seth.
there a limit
Okay,
on
I'll do
tweets
it
you can
today.
make?
I think can we all agree when it's all said and done, when we boil all this down, that this was really, again, it's a lot to do about nothing. And we're talking about it because bottom line is the reason why we're talking about this is I can't remember who made this, but I think it was a correct assessment, is that we got bored and we don't have anything else to talk about. And so we see an opportunity to blow something up a little bit, to talk about it. And here's the thing, right? I know, like, Aussie said in chat earlier how her anxiety is really through the roof and how she's whatever. The bottom line is come probably this time tomorrow, we're going to be talking about something else. More than likely, it's because somebody's working on a video right now to blow iDubbbz' shit out of the water. So we'll be back on talking about iDubbbz, or maybe, who knows, Aiden Ross will say something stupid, or hell, it might be me. Peepaw might actually come out and do something stupid in the next 10 to 12 hours, and we're talking about my dumb ass. It's
true.
That's just the way it is.
I have plans for exposing you on my channel.
I wish to hell somebody would expose
Yeah,
me.
me and Banana are gonna kick you from Clearsman.
Yeah,
Would you?
yeah.
Would you
the plans are in
please?
the works. The plans are in the works. I heard about those plans. The plans are in the works.
Yeah, and we're replacing you with Siley. It's been there all along.
Please do, because that would
No,
free up time.
I'm not doing another podcast. Fuck that shit.
No, I've heard rumors from an Australian that there was going to be a coup happening. So
Well, cooed away.
he wants to be
away.
queen. He's going to be queen of this dominion.
Oh, Jalen.
Yes, I said that.
Jalen?
No,
Not
no.
Jalen. Not Jalen. Ah, shit. I can't remember. What is the boy's name?
Oh, Rylan. I love Rylan.
Rylan, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why I said Jalen.
Wait, Ryland's Australian?
Yeah, Rylan's
Yeah,
Australian.
Rylan's Australian.
The more
He's
you
my
know.
Australian little brother that's not actually my little brother, but SFTP thought we were literally the same person. Or I think Brick thought we were literally the same person for the longest time. It's like, yeah, apparently I'm really good at making a good Australian accent.
Okay,
Well,
cheers for that.
I think when, like I said, it's all said and done, just to kind of put things in perspective. Just kind of recap because I know there's some people saying what's going on. So here's the recap. Core seen an opportunity to be core, and sure shit, he did.
Leave my core alone.
I'm not
Hashtag
picking
justice for
Fuck core.
core.
Fuck
I'm
core.
not- I'm not-
Hashtag justice for core.
I'm not.
Ain't no
hey,
justice for no maggots, bro.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm envious. If I'd have seen this shit, I may have done a little stirring. I mean, that's
I
just
know
how
you
I
would
am.
have.
That's just how I
You
am.
would no. You say that, but you would never stoop to the low that core does.
Yes, I would. You guys
Yes,
don't
you
know.
would.
If you were in
100% I would.
If
You
you were
Now,
just
look,
don't know.
wait a minute. Peepaw is no angel. He is a shit stirring.
Nah, he's no angel, but he ain't no
Dude.
fucking like
Okay,
fucking
let me
bottom of
tell
the
you.
barrel bitch.
Let me tell you how
I
I'm
thought
better
God
than
head
core.
sculpt Riverter so he
No.
could be like the
The
perfect
devil did.
man.
The
Okay,
devil
so-
did.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how. I'm gonna tell you how I'm better than core. This is where I've got it over on core. Core does his shit out in the open, right? He's just blatant about the shit. Me?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He does a lot of no. He does a lot of shit behind the scenes too, dude.
Okay, but see this right here. This could have all been done behind the scenes, and then he wouldn't have had his fingers on it, right? And so
No,
they
it
could
would
have.
still have had his fingers on it because he can't keep his
No.
fucking fingers out.
Well, no. See, I'm just saying. I do
Here's what's gonna
I do
happen.
things
If
behind
he
the
hadn't
scenes.
tweeted that, they would have
Yeah.
fucking made a live stream or a video about it, and he would have had his little grubby hands all over it.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch is going to go live about it.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
What's your take, Mitch?
What's your take, Mitch?
I'll tell you in
9 p.m. Eastern
Listen.
Standard Time tonight.
less than 12 hours.
All right.
Oh,
All
goddammit.
right. 9
Give
p.m. I
us
might
a
be able to
shit.
make that one. I don't. It's Friday night, so I don't have to go to work in the morning, so I can maybe stay up and do that one, eh? So.
Oh my god!
No, I
it's
think
Friday?
there's.
Yeah, it's Friday. Yeah.
It's Friday.
It's Cinco de Mayo, guys. We should be out
It's gonna be-
partying
it's gonna-
tonight.
It's gonna be Saturday for you, Mitch.
Yeah.
And then
I got
Well,
D&D
good
tonight. I'm going to only be able to watch an hour
gonna-
of it.
I gotta go sleep so I can do it.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys. Bottom line is, and like I said, I don't know if Ossie's watching this or not, but I wouldn't sweat this. Really, truly, hun, don't sweat this. This is. There were some missteps. There's some lessons to be learned. You're a smart girl. I 100% believe you will learn these lessons. You'll navigate these things better in the future. And when it's all said and done, I don't think anybody hates anybody. It's
Nah.
just we're just having some fun. We're talking.
I
a
hate
little
Core, I
shit.
hate Beavers, I hate Matt.
Seth, you hate about everybody.
But
you know
she
what?
does-
You know what the
No, I
sad
love
thing
you.
is?
What's
You know what the
that,
sad
Rose?
thing is? She hates me.
Yeah,
she
you're in
hates
love
me.
with me.
But when the words come out of my mouth and I always spit facts, she has to say I'm right. And
No.
that's my victory. That's my victory.
You wish you were me, Beavers. That's the
Yeah.
sad part.
All right. So
I'd
I'm
play
gonna-
with my tits all day if I was you.
Actually, you would play with your hair because it wouldn't be receding.
Oh,
that is a low fucking blow, bro.
Yikes! Wow.
Damn.
Shots fired. Whoops.
So I'm going to wrap things up. So I think we've kind of at a good point here. So I'll start the top, and I'll let each one of you guys kind of shout your stuff out. So Beavers, where can people find you, and what's going on with you?
You can find me on Twitter. I can't remember my Twitter at, but go look at somebody else's and find it. Yeah,
why do I know that?
Because you're stalking
weird. And then you can find the new episode of Now Recording.
It's
About
doing really
Illuminati.
well. It's doing really well.
It is, but you know what I was thinking? Once we reach number 100, like episode 100, I'm thinking of taking the Now Recording episode, whatever, out of the tag, because I feel like if we just had the title, they would do better.
Well, I'm gonna be actually reacting to y'all's video, either tonight, but probably not because I want to see Mitch's live stream, or Saturday. But I'm gonna be reacting to y'all's video.
It's a really good episode. I'm sad I wasn't in it. Maybe
I've
that's
only
why it's
watched like 20, 30 minutes of it so far, but it was really good what I watched.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either. 2,000 views this thing has gotten already.
And I love that thumbnail.
Yeah, thumbnail is banging. And that's that is a Pimpin' Pete original there. So Pimpin' Pete is a phenomenal artist. He really, truly is. And he's another one of them really good shit talkers. And he does it all through graphics. So anyway, all right.
Banana Grabber, I'm upset that you didn't have a McGriddle for me.
I want a McGriddle.
I want a McGriddle.
I had a granola bar, so
I haven't had breakfast yet. I just woke up.
All right, Seth, even though you don't have a platform, where can they find you at?
Clear as mud.
I knew she was going to say clear as mud. I knew she was going to say that.
Actually, I do have something.
Okay.
Go to the newest SFTP, the one with Oliver in it, and just spam hate comments. Can you do that? That'd be awesome, guys. Thank you.
Oh, you can't ask for that. That's called harassment and bullying.
Yeah, that's called brigading.
Yeah, you can't.
That is TOS.
Is that?
Okay. Don't do that. But maybe say that he was wrong and something. I don't know.
So you didn't
But
like
don't do it.
you didn't like who Tommy was wrong or Clown was wrong?
Clown, fuck him.
Yeah, with Clown's voice, Clown's never wrong. I'm just saying.
He's always wrong.
No, he ain't. Not with that voice. I just need him to read me bedtime stories. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it was so much that Clown was wrong. I think Seth just has a little bit of a grudge because of how many times he's beaten her at poker.
Okay.
That's not it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not it.
That's not it, eh? Okay. All right. What about you, Empress?
You can find me on YouTube at or Empress K _ as well as Twitch. I do plan on putting out a new episode of character development. It's a thing that I've been working on. I've been really passionate about it. I'm just really bad at editing, so I don't like hearing my own voice. And you can also find me on Web and Recorded, which will be getting a rebrand. That was the entire or it was gonna get a rebrand regardless of what happened last night.
Yeah.
But it is, for those of you that do not like the name Wyman Recording, very soon it will be no more.
Oh, thank God, because I hate that name. Thank God.
We already have a new name.
Whammin'.
It is a very cool name. You could thank Purple, actually. She was the one that kind of like said it, and I was like, wait a minute. That one. Yeah. We need that one.
When are y'all coming out with it? Like, when is it changing over?
I think pretty soon, because like the whole idea was the Hellfire episode was going to be the last episode of Wabbit Recording.
Okay.
So we're doing a bit of a rebrand and stuff because like
nice.
Yeah.
Well, good for y'all. Awesome.
I think you guys will like it. So
yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Empress, for coming on this morning and kind of well.
I tried at least.
No, I think you did fine. And like I say, again, I I think the takeaway from this is nobody really hates anybody here. Just, having a little fun. Maybe, everybody's going to, everybody has feelings now. Everybody has feelings, so we got to get those feelings out. So, anyway.
No, I owe, I think, Chris a pretty big apology. I should have never brought up the whole incident and stuff the way that I did. I don't think that was cool enough. I just have to get the balls and the pussy power to actually message him and be like, I'm sorry. So it will come at some point, I promise. But no, I reflected on that and I was like, that was kind of not cool. So that was my bad. And I feel bad. So
well, that's I'm
I
sure
hate this channel.
What about
promise,
you?
it's not the Canadian in me that's like, I'm sorry.
What about you, Shockmouth? What do you got going on, man?
I think you've got it on the screen now.
Yeah.
Streaming in less than 12 hours time. There's also a 12-hour stream doing in the 2nd and 3rd. Well, it'll be the 3rd of June here.
I couldn't help but notice it's been a little bit. We haven't had a news stream. What's our news
been
video?
2 days.
Well, that's about 24 hours too damn long, Mitch.
Yeah, we want them shits every day. Okay, we want them shits every day.
I'm sorry. There's a 5-day gap between the second last one and the one before that, and it's doing way better than the one that was 5 days prior. So I don't think waiting a few days is gonna hurt.
Okay,
Okay, fine. I'll wait.
All right, but hang on. You're talking about Illuminati. Illuminati was a really big, and you kind of broke that thing, right? So that's
Not
why.
really. I think other people were talking about it.
Yeah, but it's in the news cycle, so yeah, it's getting better views, right?
Yeah, but nothing's happened. Nothing's been happening.
That's not the point.
That's not the
farm.
Listen,
You farm.
If you're going to take the Mighty Keemstar Drama Alert show, you have to make
Not
shit
going
out
to.
of nothing. Yes, you can. You stop that
No, I can't.
negativity talk. You
No,
stop that.
No, look.
Look,
The-
why
the
do we
pro-
have
the
to show
thing
the
is,
thumbnail of me
right?
fighting with somebody? Jesus Lord.
Which
Go
one?
ahead.
Where's the thumbnail?
So-
Oh, yeah.
One. Damn it. Oh, I'm always on somebody's shit fighting. This is horrible.
Yeah, we'll get up here full where everybody can see it.
No. We ain't got to do all that.
You're so beautiful, Silent.
Oh God. Oh.
She pissed me off. Leave me alone.
Well, hey, it happens. Right? But no, seriously, Mitch. In all seriousness and all joking aside, I really do love your little videos that you're doing. This little news, Shockmouth news. I really do, honestly, no bullshit. Feel like it has really filled a big gap that was left vacated, right? So please keep doing them and farm that news. Beavers is right. Get out there and farm it, right? 90%.
People please send me things.
The reason,
Yes.
no, but the reason that I say that, right, is because with your Illuminati shit, you are somewhat in the algorithm for Illuminati,
Exactly.
right? It doesn't mean that if you cover somebody else tomorrow morning, that you'll get even close. So the whole idea is you farm something while it's relevant so that you can get those followers now.
Exactly.
Yes,
While you're in the algorithm.
what? But what? I don't know what.
Well, okay.
Go look on Twitter, see if somebody said something stupid. Make fun of them.
I just did, no bullshit, just did 2 hours over really nothing. There's stuff out there, Mitch. You just have to, sometimes you have to put a little makeup on it, make it look,
Yeah.
So
Mitch, I'll help you out. I'll send you.
Getting comments from randoms that have never found me before. I've noticed people have really play semantics with wording.
Of course.
Like, oh, they didn't say that exact. They didn't say that exact.
You know
thing.
what?
It's
Fuck
like,
them.
oh,
Fuck them.
damn it, I
Keep doing your.
paraphrased.
Fuck
Listen,
them. Keep doing your shit.
Don't read the comments. Just heart them and go on. I had people come
That
into
was
my
going to be
shit.
my stream tomorrow before this shit happened. It was just going to be reading the comments.
Well, there you
but
go.
But now I don't have to.
So, but I'll tell you something. Back to the 90% of the shit that Keemstar covered was stuff that he orchestrated. He orchestrated shit just so he'd have something to talk about. You got
All right.
to.
I'm going to do a news video about Beavers leaking his dick pics.
There you go. It doesn't have to be true. Just put it out there.
You do that, and I will bring up the leaked the leaked screenshots that I have about that thing that I spoke about on Twitter, and I will do it on Now Recording when we live stream, buddy.
Mitch, I got something
Leaked
for
what?
you.
What?
It has to do with milk.
Oh shit! Not the moo cow, not the damn moo cow. Oh God,
He was a bit of a cow.
I'm gonna tell you something. You bring that shit up, Beavers, and damn, what's his name will be in there hollering about you making jokes to him about him being a law cow.
Well, I mean, if you're a law cow,
you know what
you're a law cow. Shit.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Beavers?
No clue.
So Max put out a tweet, something and whatever, and was talking about Mitch's survivors or some shit, and it was a picture of a cow. And then fucking Hoojin was underneath there talking about shit. I was like, what the fuck? It has nothing to do with you, Hoojin.
That was funny.
That was fucking hilarious. I was like, God, what a loser.
For real though, about Hugin, right? I don't talk about the guy that often, but my God, does he reply to every fucking thing I say?
Yes. Yes.
And at some point, you have to because I don't really block people on Twitter.
Well,
and
I
at some
didn't.
point,
I didn't block people either until this guy. And
well, I got you both beat. I don't have anybody blocked. He blocked me, and he still comes underneath my shit and will be in the replies. So I'm like, why block me if you're just coming underneath my shit and reply anyway?
He hasn't blocked me, but I have him muted because he keeps popping up on my timeline, and I'm like, I don't need this generic white boy popping up on my timeline every day. So
Anyway. All right. And last, but certainly not least, the vivacious, lovely Zolly Star. So
Wow,
Zolly,
no one's ever called me that before. Hey.
what you got going on?
I did 2 live streams yesterday, one at noon and one at 8 o'clock. I did one on the Click and one on we reacted to iDubbbz's video. And yeah. You can catch me on Xylee Gets Real. We recorded a broadcast episode last night, actually when everything was going down. And that'll be out on Saturday. And for some reason, it's crazy, but Mitch was there while he wasn't there on the episode, so you're gonna have to watch it.
So I've noticed that you've been doing some like mid-morning streams, and I have thoroughly enjoyed them.
Well, thank you.
So you seem to be getting got a lot of response, a lot of people watching them. So I hope you continue doing them because I do enjoy listening to them while I work during the day. So
it's really weird. You know, the purple box that shows you when most of your audience is on. I have 3 spots that has the part where most of your audience is on, and that's at 12, that's at 6 p.m. and midnight. I have 3 spots where most of my audience is on because I have an audience for noon, I have an audience for 8, and I have an audience for midnight.
Okay.
Damn.
It's really weird.
Cool. Well, listen, I just want to thank all of you guys for calling in once again.
Eva did new art, if you didn't notice, by the way. Eva did new art. She did the faces different.
Ooh, yeah, I see that. Yeah. Cool.
Yep, she did new art for it, so.
Yeah. But
looks really good.
I love it.
Thank you guys all for calling in. I appreciate you. I hope you guys all have a great day. And all I'll say is this, guys. I think Dave is going to be doing like a big thing tonight. It's a Friday night blowout type stream. Those usually start about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I should be there. Otherwise, you can catch me in the morning, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time right here. Thanks again for everybody who tuned in today. Thanks for the guys that called in. Appreciate you. Remember, guys, keep your powder dry, and I will see you in the funny papers.